Hello, Micheal. What was this seminar all about this afternoon?
Okay, I gave a retrospective of what it's like to be an entrepreneur over several years with the view that if people learn from what I've gone through, then they can plan their futures ahead as entrepreneurs post an MBA. A lot of people finish their MBA with a dream of what it's like to be an entrepreneur, but really that's like the first step. And you have to have a plan for the next 5 or 6 years in mind and be aware of all the different hurdles that you can cross while you create your business.
So, do a lot of people start an MBA with like the idea of being entrepreneur after the MBA?
Yeah, I think at least half people who start MBAs want to be entrepreneurs. Now, as we all know, 95% of startups fail. But one thing that I have also learned is that most people who have performed an MBA at some stage of their careers afterwards ultimately will start a business.
So, doesn't like is an MBA like very relevant in like being an entrepreneur? Does it help a lot to?
It does.
In
Particular,
which way?
okay, particularly MBAs that teach through the case method because you're asked to look at other people's business experiences and take an objective view of what happened, what went well, what went badly. There are also a lot of very useful business school frameworks which are built on real experiences of entrepreneurs. Now, they say entrepreneurship cannot be taught or entrepreneurship is not a science. I would disagree. I would say that you can teach entrepreneurship by helping people to focus on what really matters in entrepreneurship, by learning from the experiences of others. You can learn from success, you can learn from failure. And a good entrepreneurship course in a good business school will present a series of business cases of people who faced a lot of entrepreneurial situations and have had to deal with them.
So, for future entrepreneurs who have like the opportunity to have an MBA, would you like strongly advise them to take an MBA or to go directly with the ideas and become an entrepreneur? What would be the best for somebody?
Okay, I think that there's sort of two ways of doing this. One is either start very young as an entrepreneur and either be successful after 5 years or fail after 5 years, and then given all that perspective that you will have on business, an MBA will be incredibly useful because we'll fill in a lot of the blanks that you didn't realize were there when you started your own business. I would not recommend that somebody starts a business and very soon afterwards decides to do an MBA. I think their business will suffer and I don't think they will get the best value from the education. An alternative is to do an MBA now and then after graduation to do your own business. But I do feel that if, like it was in my case, to be quite frank, if you do an MBA without having run your own business, you will not appreciate a lot of the good stuff which is in the program. I think people who've been through several cycles of a business, running it themselves, looking at all the different angles, will get a hell of a lot more value from an MBA.
And as a professional of the education industry, like is there like any like better business school when you want to become an entrepreneur, like to pursue your MBA with, or like they all equals? Like
Yeah. Okay, I think if you want to be an entrepreneur, there is no point in saying, I also want to go to the top five ranked programs in any particular
not?
area. Because generally speaking, they are ranked on the basis of the career options that people get fairly soon after the program. And for an entrepreneur, you're going to have to put up with a lot of career failures for a couple of years once you get off the ground. You will also be, I would say, pressured into taking a job straight afterwards because the cost of the program will be higher because most of your classmates are going to be getting jobs in, consulting firms, banks and MNCs, and it's very hard for you to be different to your friends. You'll have to see your friends live great lifestyles, often as expatriates on expense accounts, while you work very poorly with a huge MBA bill afterwards. I strongly feel that if you're one of the top 200 programs worldwide in an MBA, you will get the same opportunity to learn as a student. I don't think if you want to be an entrepreneur that you should prioritize the business school that you go to based on its rankings. I would look for a school that's very diverse with a lot of people who will challenge you in a lot of different ways. And ultimately, they will challenge yourself as a person as well.
so diversity
Yeah.
in terms of like students' background, in terms of nationality as
Background,
well.
nationality, mindsets, everything. Because as an entrepreneur, you have to realize that you don't have to be so much more than you ever were beforehand. You can't just be a good functional fit in a particular industry. You have to become a general manager very, very quickly.
So your verdict is if I want to become an entrepreneur, I mean I have ideas, I have the time and the resources to have an MBA. I should definitely go for an MBA, learn like the basics and then start my business?
I would say that with the right approach, an MBA can be an excellent education to prepare people if you focus on the lessons learned from other people's business cases throughout the year. Put it to you another way, if you start your own business, a year will fly by anyway. So if you do like a 1 year program, you can learn from other people's successes and failures within that 1 year without having to go down that track yourself.
So 1 year program rather than 2 years programs?
Definitely. I also don't believe that a 2 year program is ultimately as beneficial as a 1 year program, because 2 year programs will keep you out of the real world for 2 years. There's also a bigger expense involved because you will spend so much more money and you will be out of the ability to earn money for 2 years as well. You will still get the same basic education. And I also like the pressurized 1 year programs because it forces you to become somebody that you always wanted to be in a much shorter period of time.
Excellent. Thank you for your time.
Not at all, Jonathan.
Prep Zone. Focus on your future.